I'm excited today to have JC Hite on the podcast. JC is an entrepreneur, speaker, and the co-owner of Appreciation at Work. His focus is on helping business owners scale with stability without sacrificing their faith and family to build a business. JC, I'm so glad you're here, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Dr. Attaway, I'm pumped to be on here, brother. It's going to be fun.
It is indeed. I'd love to start with this question. About a year ago, you saw and met Dr. Paul White, the founder of Appreciation at Work, and started some conversations around what would it look like to acquire the business. What drew you to Appreciation at Work?
Yeah. Well, actually, the first conversations had nothing to do with acquisition, Oma. I mean, it was really the biggest problem I see in my own companies, and every time I talk to other business owners, is the ability to recruit and retain incredible talent. And if we think about it, like every problem you could possibly dream of, you got a sales problem, you got a marketing problem, you got almost every problem. Man, if you could be the type of person that can recruit really, really well, and there's a lot of factors there, and then retain really well, I bet you could solve that problem. So we got introduced by a friend. Obviously, I was familiar with the 5 love languages, and I was immediately fell in love with Dr. White's mission and his vision for helping create sustainability and stability in the workplace through recruiting and retaining. And so we hit it off right off the bat.
I love that. So, you've got your hands in a lot of different things. What is it about Appreciation at Work that really captured your heart? I mean, what made this different?
Yeah, I got a 2.1 GPA. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, Dr. Attaway. But I really like these simple concepts that are like once even hearing appreciation at work, the 5 languages of appreciation, immediately you know what we're talking about. Like immediately you get it. And then to see, like I think in business so often we just overcomplicate so much. We overcomplicate so many things. And so the simplicity of the message, but yet the power of it, like as you dig deep, right? Like the surface level, okay, here's these 5 languages of appreciation. Everyone fits into one of the categories, and we all have a secondary, and we have a least, favorite as well. But then you dig into these, like you go a deeper layer, and you really start to understand like how human beings work, right? And so uh, I feel like every month I'm learning more and more. And of course, I've read the book I don't know how many times. Reading, we got 5 books in total, all around culture, and I feel like I'm learning something new every day.
I think that speaks to your teachable spirit, and what you model for your team, understanding you can learn something from anybody and you can learn something every day if you walk in with that kind of a mindset. And I
That's
think
right.
you exhibit that.
That's
You know,
right.
when before you heard about the languages of appreciation in the workplace, how did you typically try to show appreciation to your team?
Well, I'm a believer, and as a Christian and someone that follows Jesus, that's kind of been our like leading principle since day one. We love others and we treat them how we want to be treated, and so for us, culture has always been a very simple act of like, all right, well, what are the needs of our people, and how do we match those? And so there was a season where we had an office, we had a lot of young mothers, so we put a daycare in there, and but it was much more reacting to. Um, People's requests and just ideas and brainstorming. So we've always like been intrigued with culture. We've always had I think a good culture within our organization, even great at times, and oh, by the way, terrible at times too. But I think as a Christian, that's always been my motto. In fact, when I was early in business, I had a mentor that told me like, if you want to win and you want to do everything in business is going to be built on the back of your team. And so treat them as such. And that's not a negative thing. That's a very positive thing, right? Like these are the beautiful human beings that are going to help pay for my daughter's college one day, and every training. So, but the book really puts the formula on this, right? It creates some more intentionality because, to be frank, I was loving everyone the way I felt loved and appreciated, right? Like it's the same thing in my marriage, by the way. I'm physical touch is my love language. And so obviously every time I touch my wife, I feel like she's receiving love, and it's just not the case. And um, so understanding the intentionality behind these actions is has been something really new to me over the past, year and a half.
So thinking about in the workplace, like, can you think of a time when appreciation or maybe the lack of it had a big impact on you?
Oh yeah. No, man. I can think of several reasons where, for us, you talk about rewards and recognition, and that's what we thought, right? Like you got the end of the year award, and we brought you in front of the company, and turns out that was the opposite. Like we thought it was great, we thought it was good. Oh, they're gonna love us, but it's actually the opposite. They really don't appreciate that. They didn't want to be in the spotlight. They didn't want these things, right? I've had seasons. I had a personal assistant who I love so much. She was so amazing in so many ways, but her language of appreciation was words of affirmation. And if I was not affirming her verbally on a weekly basis, she was really concerned with how much was I happy with her? Was I attentive? Did I need anything? Was I going to fire her? Was I going to? And I really liked her. Like I never got under her. She never got anything. I think she doubled her salary while being with me, but we never met eye to eye on this appreciation thing. And so I've had several cases where I have walked away feeling like, "What an idiot." Like, "What do you mean they don't feel appreciated? I show them appreciation all the time. Have they seen that daycare? Have they seen this? Have they seen this? Have they done this?" And quite frankly, it just wasn't resonating at all.
Mm. I think a lot of people make that mistake. They're trying to show appreciation the way they wanna receive it.
Yeah,
I
that's
see
right.
leaders doing this all the time. Like, as you work with business owners and business leaders from around the world, do you see this consistently being done? Like, people are trying to show appreciation. They're just they're not hitting the target.
And it even goes beyond that. Like our two most greatest assets are time and money, probably, just right, time and money. And we waste so much time and money on this. And so the money part, right? Like we have times where, man, they're just not happy. So what do? We throw money at it. What do we
Yes.
do? We throw a big party at the end of the year and spend all kinds of money. What do? Man, I bought a bunch of swag for my team. I do all of these things that resonate. What is it? Gifts. Was it 9% these days at away?
Yeah,
9% of
9%.
people,
That's right.
their language of appreciation is gifts, which means 92% of the money I spend on swag or trips or gifts or whatever, 92% of it's wasted. And so, and then you go to the time route. My time is super valuable. So I really try to spend time with my people, one on ones, time in general, just in meetings, like listening and going through. And what is it? 75% of folks really don't see value in that at all, right? Only 25% of people, their language is quality time. And so, and then you get it. I mean, like, so this, like, as a CEO, if we can really dial this in, we save so much time for our people as well as money. And that doesn't even count like the benefits of having a good culture, right? The productivity increases and things like this. And so
Yeah. Well, and I think the retention too. I mean, we wanna retain A players. We wanna hang on to these folks, but so many companies, organizations, even industries are dealing with higher churn rates than they've ever seen before.
it's
How does
ridiculous.
this help with that?
Well, there's so many ways, but one of the easy ways we've tracked this a long time at Height, and in order to recruit, if someone out there listening wants to steal one of my team members, now there's been seasons where we've had a crappy culture. Okay, like nobody's arguing this, but when our culture is where it's supposed to be, we track this over the years. On average, hear me out. On average, you have to offer someone double the pay for them to leave our organization. Double.
Wow.
So we track as people leave, as people move on. Now there's people have to move on unless you just have infinite job opportunities. People will grow, and that's just part of it, right? But what ends up happening, because if someone else can steal your team members, take your team members, recruit you, whatever word you want to use, with just a 2% raise, 3% raise, oh, heaven forbid, even a 10% decrease, and they'd still go. This is all leverage that you've got in your organization that really leverage for the team member that really hurts you. I mean, it really hurt you because the cost of training, developing, hiring, or just flat out the cost of having to outpay a crappy culture is
Yes.
ridiculous. And I've had team members. I've had team members where there were seasons where, quite frankly, we couldn't afford to pay them what they deserve. We just couldn't. I'm thinking of one right now in
Mm,
the office that I'm at. Couldn't afford
mm,
to pay her what she needed, what she was worth, but because she enjoyed us, because she was a little bit crazy, she just stuck around and she just like believed in the mission and kept working. She kept at it. And then, eventually we're able to give those raises and pay more and things like this, right? So the competitive advantage for young companies, companies that are small that just can't quite afford it, is ridiculously massive, right? But even the larger ones, I mean, and again, don't hear me say good culture is an excuse to pay less. That's not what I'm
mm.
saying. Pay your people as
Yeah,
much as you can. That is a flat out just go for it. What I am saying is that in seasons where you can't pay as much, you can't have enough. It is a dramatic, um, makes a very large difference in your ability to win and survive. Because what's the famous quote, right? Like Simon Sinek actually said that the goal of business is to stay in business. That's the goal of business.
that's a good word. Yeah.
And so you gotta survive seasons. Spirit Airlines, that's hot news right now.
Hot news
A
right
couple
now.
of days
Yep.
before we have this podcast, they just went under.
Yeah,
They couldn't survive a rough time. And I wonder that if they would have had a great culture, if they could have done some more cutting financially, that would or like they, they were definitely spending more money than they were making. Right? That's not rocket science. And so anyway,
yeah.
it's a fun
Hey,
topic.
I think that's very solid, and I think the ROI of appreciation in the workplace is something that we're talking about a lot more these days. With the business owners that you talk to, in your committed mastermind and so many different venues, the Scale with Stability Summit, you have the opportunity to speak into and hear from
Yeah,
a lot of business owners and
yeah.
leaders. You know, the ROI of appreciation is pretty solid. It's data driven. When you talk about that, do you sense them leaning in?
Well, most people don't take action, right? Like that's the reality. And this is what
Yeah,
makes it a great opportunity, and you
yeah,
can think about this across the board, right? I don't think I've ever talked to anyone that's like, no, being healthier and going to the gym is not I don't agree with that. I think that would be worse for me than better for me. Everyone thinks it's better, but very few do it, which is why it's such a great opportunity, right?
that's
Like
right.
every single most organizations need people to thrive and grow. And if they want to
Mm,
scale fast, they have to do this. And so if that's what makes it such a great opportunity. Now, those that are doing it, you see them just and like we were at an event the other day and Myers Davis, and you just talk to their people and you see like they are happy to be there. Savannah Bananas. Have you ever once seen their salary or comp plan? Like I haven't, but like
no,
they are happy to be there. And you go through organizations and you can see when team members are excited about the culture that they're a part of, everything. We're not even talking about all the benefits, right? Like even if you're I was at a conference the other day and I had everyone raise their hand. I said, everyone raise their hand if you have someone right now that's looking for a better job. Every single person raise their hand.
mm,
And
wow,
then I asked, okay, everyone raise your hand if your organization or an organization you know really well is recruiting right now. Every one of
mm,
them raised their hand. Then my next question was, why have you not paired them? And everyone was
mm,
silent. And I was like,
mm.
it's exactly right. Because even we know a lot of jobs available out there, and we're just not quite sure that we want to put them in touch with each other. And so, you know,
Wow.
I want to create a culture where, man, people are referring all the time, and they're protective of that culture. They don't refer crappy people to us. They like, man, I've got my best friend out there, and I want them to come work for me or for us.
Love that. Does appreciation work for remote employees? This is something that's, on the rise, and you've been leading remote teams for a decade now. Like, does
Yes,
this work in that type of an environment?
absolutely. In fact, it works. It's so much harder to build a relationship remote than it is in person. You have to be more
Yeah,
intentional about it,
yeah.
right? Now, there's a lot of organizations that have chosen not to do that. Like I know several CEOs that have companies that they've done decently well that I don't know a single one of them. I don't care to know. I don't have to know. I don't whatever. They churn and they hire, and that's just part of their business model, right? But the companies that I like, that I'm excited to be a part of, that we promote, that we push, our strategic partners, these guys have to be intentional about building culture, especially when it's remote. Because again, quite just think about this from an employee standpoint. If I'm not attached to the mission and I'm not attached to the vision and I'm not attached to the culture, or a team or leadership there, if I have none of that attachment, then why am I there? What is the only reason why I'm there? I'm there for a paycheck. And if that is the only variable in the scenario, there are 50 million other companies willing to pay me probably 10 to 20% more,
Mm,
right? Or
so true.
you have an employee where they don't want them and neither do you want them. They're just filling a void, you know? Like either way, it's a crappy scenario to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people who are listening to this, they'll be like, "Wow, this sounds good. It sounds nice. Appreciation's nice. That's great. I just don't know that it's necessary for
It's
my
not.
team, for my company." What would you say to that?
Yeah, it's not necessary. Again, I see a lot of businesses floating by. I see a lot of businesses churning and they're okay with it. No different than
Mm,
I see a lot of marriages that are just floating by, a lot of overweight folks that are just,
yeah.
passing time and everything else. But if you want to be great, if you want to have a company that you're proud of, that, I met someone the other day and like, they were like, yeah, I've met this several times. Like, would you be okay with folks from your church working for you?
Mm,
Some people, I've met them. They're like, I can't hire from church. I don't want to. It gets too chaotic. It gets too messy. It gets too like that's a sign for me that like. And I've had people like, dude, I'll take my best friend because we're gonna crush it. I want to be the latter guy. I want to be the guy that like
good.
is proud to be where I'm at and what we're doing. And the great thing is, it's like most things. It's simple, guys. It's not hard. And I'm really proud of the work Dr. White put in and Dr. Chapman put in to lay the foundation. And then now you and I have taken this and we've ran with it and we've kind of like changed it up to match this new modern culture that we live in and this idea of of a lot of folks kind of learning from each other, from you, from all of our leadership, and it's actually fun and kind of addictive once you get started, but you got to get started. So
Well, and I think that's the key. It's about executing. A lot of great ideas that people hear. We just had the Scale with Stability Summit, and I came back with pages of notes. How many times do we leave a conference or a workshop or a seminar or a webinar and we have a great idea, and 6 months later, it's still just a great
great
idea,
idea. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. What's the deal? Like the difference between entrepreneurs that what is it? Uh Oh, it's none of us know what we're doing, but some of us do it anyways.
That's right.
None of us know what we're doing, but some of
That's
us do
good.
it anyways. And
That's
so
good.
if you're looking at culture right now and you're just like, man, I want to have a good one, I want to have a great one, which honestly is my favorite people to work with, or I have a crappy one and I'm trying to make it good. Either way, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, let me give you a step one. Step one is jump on a call with Dr. Attaway or anyone from our team to figure it out. And I mean, like we have something to meet every budget or every need, but like I don't know what I'm doing. Well, let's just do it anyways. Let's just go. And there is a systemized path to better your culture. There's a systemized path to better our culture. You just got to do the small little things and you'll be good to go.
Mm. This has been so insightful, JC. I'm grateful for your time in sharing this today. As people walk away from this episode, if they only walk away with one big idea, one thing, and you got to choose what that one thing was, what would you like for them to walk away with?
Man, love covers a multitude of sins. And the deeper I've focused on the intimacy of relationships, the better it's been in everywhere. That's with my faith, that's with my marriage, that's with my children, and it's also with my team members. And so the intentionality behind this a more intimate relationship is it's good and it's fun and it's rewarding and it's all these fun emotions And if you haven't experienced it before, once you do, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's so good.
I love it. Man, this has been such a great conversation. Thanks for doing this. I know
Yeah.
folks are going to want to continue to learn from you as you are continuing to grow and teach other people as you speak, as you write. What's the best way for folks to connect with you?
Ooh, me personally, Instagram, jc.height. And if you want to see our work, scalewithstability.com. My wife and I are fully focused on helping entrepreneurs scale with stability. And what we mean by that is scale without forsaking our faith, our family, and our health. And so scalewithstability.com or hit me up on Instagram.
We'll have those links in the show notes. JC, thanks.
Thank you, sir.